I'm looking for all the baddies all over the world. Ladies, where my baddies at? I'm bad, you bad. Way bad. Where my baddies at? I'm bad, you bad. Way bad. Where my baddies at? I'm bad, you bad. Way bad. Where my baddies at? Yeah. Real bad on the prowl. Heard you was next, but I'm up now. Yeah, I'm shining like bling blow. And I see a couple haters in the crowd. Yeah, drip, drip, drop, I'm juicy. Don't really care what you say. And we all on Ducey. It's your birthday, girl, go crazy. Now make it clap and get low. Yeah, now back it up a little more. Yeah, now bring it up slow. You need a stage the way you putting on the show. Now grab your bestie by the hand and let her know she bad. Say grab a baddie by the hand and let her know she bad. Where my baddies at? I'm bad, you bad. Where my baddies at?
Shadows in the night under the starlit skies. Rebels in the moonlight, wandering souls. Born to raise hell with the devil's own might. Both feeling the paper rotten through the night. Nights of darkness sworn to fight. Legends of the South, tales of old, legends of the Whiskey Road, stories untold, leather and steel, guns ablaze, riding on through the darkest day. Outlaws of the shadows, lost in time, born to raise hell with the devil's own might. Both feeling the paper rotten through the night. Nights of darkness, sworn to fight. Own might, both feeling the paper run through the night. Nights of darkness, sworn to fight. A fight. Rebel to raise hell with the devil's own might. Both feeling the paper run through the night. Nights of darkness, sworn to fight. A fight. A fight. Sworn to fight. A fight.
Yes. Yes.
Second night in a row.
Yes.
Hostile takeover. We're doing it.
Yep.
Yes.
We're doing this.
Yes.
Yep.
So long.
Yep.
Stop
Yep.
taking.
Yep.
Stop
Jim's
taking
gone.
Elon's calls. Yep. It all.
Jim's
came
gone. Jim's
Yep.
gone.
Yep.
Put your phone on silent. Put your phone on silent.
You see, it was a tragedy that happened to that Starlink satellite hovering over the state of Florida, and Dwayne just happened to have his modified potato cannon.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that. That was, unreal. Unreal.
I told him, Dwayne, it's too much power in that. I mean, do you really need 4, commercial-sized propane tanks hooked to it? He just told me he's been doing this for years. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I do not poop in the woods, but I do pee on the side of my house.
Well, how else do you
If
keep
that
raccoons away?
counts. If that counts. And yes, Parson, it is the papal grift. It is the
Yes.
papal grift. So
Yes, we have taken over.
5 super chats of any denomination. Support the papal grift.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know what I'm grifting, but yes, support the papal grift.
Hey, Karen.
Hey, Karen!
Yeah, he hasn't had a connection for 36 hours. And
I think Vlad
and I,
took over the satellite.
I had nothing to do with it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Nope. I don't
You
have that kind of
own
power.
you have holdings in satellite companies.
Nope. Nope. I'm not going to say I did anything. I did not do anything.
I have plausible
We're not going to say
deniability.
it. We'll say it, but you know, yeah.
Just because I have plausible deniability on a lot of things, because I hang out with some Florida men that do crazy things, doesn't mean I'm responsible.
Well,
Right.
I can confirm a tornado did not put a house on Jim.
Okay. But that's good. I'm glad a house was not put on him. That would have been bad.
But can we confirm that I am the lover of the Russian queen?
Sure. I don't know what that is, but okay.
You've never heard of Rasputin?
Of Rasputin, yes.
Back in the day, one of the things was to insult him and the Russian monarchy. Was they would go and say, "Ra Ra Rasputin, lover of the Russian queen."
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Little history.
My space lasers.
Uh-huh.
I have those. Yes.
Was it Rasputin shot?
He was shot, poisoned, beaten, stabbed, and thrown in a river.
I stopped answering Elon's calls. I don't know what happened. Blame me.
Well, I always blame you.
Of course. It's okay.
It's okay. Nobody will blame you on tomorrow's show.
Now, contrary to what the
Can't she
show
put in
claims,
charge of it?
contrary to what the show claimed about drunk girls, we're not doing that because I don't do that. I like NCR.
Thank you.
What happened? Starlink?
Vlad,
Jim's getting his revenge.
silence me.
A certain individual will appreciate that as well.
Yes.
So I have some soft sets though.
Do we have any angry little men?
Yes, we do. And this guy, the first one is gonna be great because he's already been convicted. This is his sentencing hearing. So he's gone to trial, he's lost, and now he's going to be sentenced. So just keep that in mind. And hold on again. Unbelievable. That's the one. Oh wait, no, that's not that one. That's this one. This comes from
I can't
Credence in
believe
my
somebody that was slamming their brakes on the interstate at 75, 80 miles per hour deal with trauma. You could have killed us and everything behind me. Ain't no such thing as you got trauma for you slamming your brakes.
So yeah, he's a more. He's a more.
I don't know why, but I have the feeling LJ will be said a lot in this video.
Just wait for it.
Hensley, we are back this morning for Circuit Court sentencing. He's appearing in person. We did try to start this earlier with him remote at the jail. It just made more sense for the court to have him present where we're not trying to talk through Zoom. So, Mr. Hensley, here we are again today, sir. First, I want to start with this. When I arraigned you a couple weeks ago, you were given the opportunity to request court-appointed counsel, and you were also given the opportunity for the last several months to retain your own counsel. Are you representing yourself today, sir?
For objection, for the record, let the record reflect. My appellation is Malik, title is B. Works American National, I'm the Islam.
This dude's wearing sunglasses in court.
Proper persona, sui juris.
All right.
And his prison outfit.
Nice.
So he's got his prison top on, right? He's got the prison pants, and I think the prison sneakers. And yes, he's wearing his sunglasses. And he
Nice.
objected to the judge calling him by his name to say that his appellation ended in LB. Now again, he's already been tried and convicted. This is a sentencing hearing.
So, sir, the information that I have in front of me has your listed name as Milton Joseph Hensley Jr. So we've been through this before. Respectfully, I'm going to call you by the name that is listed in the information, Mr. Hensley. So, Mr. Hensley, do you wish to proceed by representing yourself today, sir?
Open my Fifth Amendment right.
All right. You don't wish to answer any questions from the court?
Open my Fifth Amendment right.
He evokes his Fifth
You're
Amendment.
not going to answer the court when I'm asking, do you wish to proceed representing yourself today for circuit court sentencing? You wish to do that, Mr. Hensley?
Objection. My appellation is Malik, title is B.
All right.
Uh-huh.
So then let's get this on the record. As
Mr.
far
Then
as
what
the
do
PSI.
Then what are you doing there?
And Mr. Super Cat, hold on.
It would appear that the court has a copy of this.
Oh. Thank you, Pants, for the 666. Clearly, Gia space lasers have run amok. Clearly, Gia's space lasers. Yes.
Yes. Exactly.
Her Jewish space laser, nonetheless.
Yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Mr. Butler apparently has it. And then, what do you know about Mr. Hensley receiving this copy?
That he was emailed a copy, and it's my understanding.
And Sue Bear, that's your own damn fault.
By someone.
All right. So, Mr. Hensley, have you had a chance to review the pre-sentence report, sir?
Objection. My appellation is Malik, title is B. And for the record, you have my nationality information within your files. So you know my appellation.
All right.
Oh, Lord.
So, when was our
You
PSI
have my
completed this
nationality information. Okay.
It's like 229 of 04.
Yes.
Got it, reviewed it. And so after the review, that would have went out to all the parties sometime in March. Okay.
Just while I'm pulling this up, it appears that there would have to be an additional jail credit.
Okay.
As he was arrested on the bench warrant, there's an additional 12 days from 4/18 of 24 to today.
So we can make that correction and
And
update the jail credit.
The PSIs were sent out on 2/29 today.
So I also want the record to reflect I've seen Mr. Hensley several times as it relates to sentencing. He had been appearing for all of his court appearances. He had been cooperating with the court as it relates to expressing his desire to represent himself in these proceedings. He's never wavered from that, which is why the court is inquiring again today. I recognize that sentencing is an important part of the circuit court process. It's
Okay, Phil.
certainly a
Phil,
Yes.
if he isn't this person that the judge is calling him by? What is he doing there?
Well, he's in jail. They've been holding him in jail since his conviction. So he's been, awaiting sentencing. So of course he came out because there's the jail sentence.
Oh,
But
they made him. They made him.
Okay, and it's going to come up here. He's going to kind of address this. He has issues with his trial because it's not fair, right? Because
Well, Phil,
it gets to it. Wait till you hear. Yeah.
Random Albedo doesn't have any power in the court. Only the person convicted of a crime can try to make an appeal. So
Right.
the Albedo is duck in water.
Yes.
Stop using facts and logic, Touche. That's not fair.
Yeah.
But wait till they get to what this guy did. Okay, this is kind of a slow build-up, but we're getting there. Just wait till you hear what this guy did and what he's convicted of.
Hearing, if you will, that would require and entitle, I should say, the defendant to the assistance of an attorney, which is why I'm asking. However, the court is balancing that with the idea that this circuit court sentencing date has been delayed several times in the court.
Sean, that is actually a very good point. There is the Moorish Science Temple of America, and they are somewhat of a goofy group, but they're usually very peaceful. That's not this group. These types of Moors are not actually part of that. And the Moorish Science Temple actually does a great job of trying to speak out against these types of Moors. These are a subset that are kind of the militant type, where they have an attorney general and they have a sheriff and they try to be police and they do all this. They carry guns and they do all this other wacky crap. That's different. And so that's actually a good point. There is a Moorish Science Temple that's separate from this. So thank you for reminding me of that.
Can't help but glean at this point, it just appears to be a delay tactic. The court, we sift that back through the dates, has given Mr. Hensley several times to hire counsel. He expressed that interest. Again, it appears in hindsight that it's simply a delay tactic. Court has given Mr. Hensley several times, actually not even with the sentence that the court's required to give here in a moment, keeping him out on bond to do those things, explore counsel. Even after being arrested on the warrant when he failed to appear, court also gave him the opportunity again to request court-appointed counsel. In fact, the public defender's office appeared at his arraignment. Mr. Hensley Bays had the ability to fill out the affidavit and request counsel. Here this morning, in response to the court's questioning, he does not appear interested in answering the court's questioning. Again, it appears to be a delay tactic. I am comfortable that the pre-sentence report has been provided months ago to Mr. Hensley. I am comfortable Mr. Hensley has been given ample opportunity either to retain counsel, to ask for court-appointed counsel. And therefore, the court's going to proceed with sentencing today. I can't continue to allow this delay of the matter in what appears to simply be at this point, series of incidents and responses, or lack thereof, responses simply to delay the matter. I know Mr. Hensley's been engaged with this. We have several filings that are not court filings that he has continued to send to the clerk's office, some of which he has referenced, none of which have anything to do with the case and or the court's requirement to get him sentenced now that he has been convicted several months ago of these crimes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with then Mr. Buckler. As it relates to the PSI, are you aware of any corrections, additions, or deletions that need to be made with it other than what we've already placed on the record with probation?
I would just ask the court to take a look at offense variable 4 regarding psychological injury to the victim. We did receive a victim impact statement. It looks like it came from Robert Siegel, who was the male occupant of the vehicle. In this case, the victim. We received that just this morning, about 2 hours ago. By email. So I can read that. I do believe it references facts to validate scoring for week 4.
All right. So why don't you read that?
Okay. This is from Rob Siegel. That's S-I-E-G-E-L. He says, "I do have things to say to the judge and the proceedings that I would like to be read during the sentencing below. Your Honor, I apologize for not being here in person today, but I could not find the time again to keep seeing this through. The amount of stress and anxiety Mr. Hensley has caused my family is downright disgusting and infuriating. Pull a gun on a family driving down the highway for nothing more than getting out of his way, not getting out of his way fast enough is obscene. My daughter, who was only 9 years old at the time with special needs, was terrified, and it took months for her to feel comfortable riding in any vehicle again because she was scared someone was going to cut her life short for seemingly no reason at all. My wife had to start and is still in therapy over this whole situation, which has thankfully helped her anxiety levels to become manageable, but also is not covered under our insurance. So it's cost us quite a large sum of money, and that brings with it its own stresses to our family and social life. I find myself driving and cannot seem to relax because anyone I see speeding up behind us reminds me of the terrible people in the world and just how ignorant someone can be with disregard for others' lives, including those of its own family and child in the car. Being that there are previous charges against Mr. Hensley for almost the exact same situation where he brandishes a gun and threatens to kill people because of his unchecked aggression and inability to safely operate a vehicle, which then turns to road rage, I plead that the court recognize this man is a danger to society whose blatant disregard for human life will eventually cause someone to lose theirs, if not his own. Because of all the pain, sufferings, financial burdens, and overall creation of trauma and issues in the many lives he's affected, I petition that the court give Mr. Hensley the maximum sentence possible for his crimes, so that my family and others he's affected may know some semblance of peace. To Mr. Hensley, despite everything you've done to my family over this very long process and the disdain I have for you as a human being, I hope that your time behind bars will allow you to see life differently, and that you can truly find the error of your ways and become better for yourself and your family. So with that statement, I think we have 2 individuals that are reported by Mr. Stagel to have suffered emotionally from this, his 9-year-old daughter and his wife, both of them were in the car at the time. I think that would validate more than 10 points.
I object to that.
Hold on. So, Mr. Hensley, what is your objection?
Tell him prove everything he's saying. If his wife and everybody went through the trauma, show me the doctor bill and the report that he went through it. Because I can't believe somebody that was slamming the brakes on the interstate at 75, 80 miles per hour.
Now think about this.
Okay, so it's a swoop. It's a swoop and squat. He pulled in front of him and
No.
Okay.
He was tailgating.
He was tailgating. They tried to pull over to get out of his way. So this is a road rage. It's a road rage.
Okay. All right.
So the victims gave an impact statement. They talked about how the incident affected them. You know, they wished him that he would learn a lesson. So this is the lesson he's learned. He's objecting to this, and he's saying, you need to prove that you've been traumatized by me. Now just wait, because we haven't gotten to what he actually did. That's going to be coming up here.
Okay.
So just keep all of this in mind as he goes on this little rant here. And wait till you hear what this guy actually did. Because it gets worse.
Our deal with trauma. You could have killed us and everything behind me. Ain't no such thing as you got trauma for you slamming your brakes.
All right.
Prove them at.
Now remember that part. You don't have trauma when you hear what this guy did.
Prove it.
All right, so sir, I am
It's
going
got
to
a
grant.
written script like you coming from a movie or something.
I am going to grant the request for scoring OB4 based on the victim impact statement here. It does appear to meet the definition. Now, OB4, for the record, psychological injury to a victim could be scored 10 points if the serious psychological injury may require professional treatment, and in making the determination, the fact that the treatment has not been sought is not conclusive. First, we have the issue of the 9-year-old in the car, apparently with special needs, and dad, victim, has expressed in that statement that was just read into the record how this is still affecting the minor child. And that makes sense in court as it relates to somebody that's 9 years old and was observing somebody pull up next to them and point a handgun at them.
Because I can't.
So did you hear that?
Hey everyone, Sarah Longwell here.
Bang.
Sorry.
Yep.
Did you hear that?
Yep.
9 years old.
Yep.
He pulled up next to them and pulled out a handgun.
Yep.
And he wants them to prove they've been traumatized.
Yep. Yep.
You brandished a weapon at them.
Yep.
And you don't think a 9-year-old's going to be traumatized by that.
10 points if the serious psychological injury may require professional treatment, and in making the determination, the fact that the treatment has not been sought is not conclusive. First, we have the issue of the 9-year-old in the car, apparently with special needs, and dad, victim, has expressed in that statement that was just read into the record how this is still affecting the minor child. And that makes sense in court as it relates to somebody that's 9 years old and was observing somebody pull up next to them and point a handgun at them.
Still haven't been proven for the record.
Mr. Hensley, you've been convicted of that, sir,
Oh,
by the court.
We will have our
Okay?
day. We will have our day.
So please let me finish, and then I
Yeah,
certainly
continue.
will give you the opportunity to address the court before sentencing. And then also, pursuant to the statement that was just read into the record from the wife, who also was in the car, according to the testimony at the trial, she is not only suffering from the effects of this, has sought treatment and continues to seek treatment, which is in line with the OV scoring guidelines that professional treatment may be required, in fact has been, and is still being engaged. So we'll score 10 points for OV4. So that will change our total OVs to 35. And does that change the level?
Good, Your Honor, changes it to a level 4. And so a C4 cell is going to be 523.
All right. Any other additions, corrections, or deletions from the people?
No, nothing from the people, and no, nothing else from the people.
So you've read the statement into the record, then nothing else from victims,
That's correct, Your Honor.
and then anything on behalf of then the people.
Your Honor, the recommendation on the 0 to 17 guideline range is 12 months on count 1 and 2, and 2 years on count 3 preceding the count 2 sentence. The people did initially support that, but with the change in the sentencing guideline range, obviously this does open up, Your Honor, to more opportunity for incarceration if you so choose, and we would leave that at discretion. But otherwise, we ask that you please follow the recommendation that is intended by.
All right. So, Mr. Hensley, I'm going to give you the opportunity before I ask you to address the court for sentencing. Do you have any additions, corrections, or deletions as it relates to the pre-sentence report? You have
All
any
those accusations-
additions, corrections, or deletions?
All those accusations are false, and none of them have been proven.
Okay.
Not one. And he talking with this story.
As it relates to this report, do you have any
don't have no
additions,
report.
corrections, or deletions? Excuse me.
No, I don't have no report.
All right.
Uh-huh.
So, as it relates to sentencing, is there anything that you want to state to the court before a sentence is imposed?
You know, I have my medical information. You know, I have stage 3 cancer. You know, I have head trauma. You know, I have neck and back injury and something with a dry foot. For the record.
Karma.
Anything else then,
That's
Mr.?
it.
All right. So Mr. Hensley has provided, it is accurate, information regarding different medical issues that he has, that he is suffering and is suffering today, as a matter of fact. However, as the court sat through this trial, it's clear to the court that what Mr. Hensley was engaged in is troubling. The testimony of these victims, where they were traveling on westbound I-96, minding their own business, when Mr. Hensley's vehicle comes up behind them at a high rate of speed, the victim described with great clarity how close Mr. Hensley and his vehicle were to them, to the point they were extremely uncomfortable.
Objection.
Did not, hold on, Mr. Hensley, let the court finish, okay? To the point that they thought they were going to be struck. The victim, I recall, describing being unable to even see the front of Mr. Hensley's vehicle. That's how close it was, meaning the grille, headlights. I recall the testimony. And that they immediately got over. Victim then went on to describe that Mr. Hensley pulled up next to them and pointed a handgun in this manner. Of course, pointing over to the right and directly at these individuals. The victim described how he reached back, sort of to shield his family, and that they were getting down as best they could. Now, all of that, I think, is certainly actions that would cause the victims here to feel their life was in danger if somebody points a gun at them. The fact that somebody is tailgating that closely behind them on the highway at speeds of 70, 75, 80 certainly puts people in danger, could cause people to be incredibly uncomfortable about what's going to happen next. But it's a long way, Mr. Hensley, the court saying, having sat through the trial, you create the situation by driving in a manner that makes these folks uncomfortable, by coming up on them at a high rate of speed and following them that closely.
Man. Objection, man.
Mr. Hensley.
I drive a
to
BMW.
object to.
Anybody with an autopilot vehicle, you know for a fact it won't do that.
Right.
That's a fact.
So Mr.
Not
Hensley.
what he giving you on out of his mouth. A fact. An automobile will not get up on nobody. Automatically jam brakes. I told you BMW does that.
Yep.
Autopilot. So he's going with the chili defense.
Yep.
Autopilot.
Yep.
You know,
And the
you know
gun
what?
was, yeah, the gun was auto. Yep.
You know what my car does when it thinks I'm going to get into an accident?
It beeps really loud.
And applies the brakes.
Yes, it does.
Automatically.
Yep. Yep.
So you don't get hit.
Mine beeps if I go too close
Yeah,
to
yeah,
a
lane
line.
departure. Yeah, lane departure. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this reminds me of a case in California, road rage on the 91, where somebody got pissed off. The lady flipped him off. He shot at the car, and it hit her little 3-year-old boy in the back seat.
Oh
and
my
he was
God.
dead before she could pull over.
Oh my God.
And then he took off. They hid the car. Both of them were found. Yep. 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 That's what happens.
They forget that there's cameras on the freeway.
Yep.
Well, but to listen to this guy tell the story, right? He's the victim.
Yeah.
You know, he was doing something. Other people reacted, but it's not his fault they reacted.
Yep.
The problem is their reaction. How dare you be offended I pulled a gun on you?
Yeah.
Like,
How dare you have trauma? Trauma,
Yeah.
what's
See-
that? Yeah.
You know what the problem is? He doesn't have a lawyer, and he should hire one of the best lawyers. He should actually hire one of my lawyers.
Guido,
Yeah, listen, man. I'm the best lawyer. I tell you this because I'm like the Greek Adonis here. That the judge is just jealous because I get all the skippy chicks that call me, not him. He's taking it out on my client because my client was siphoning the petrol out of the cars, man. And the
The trial is
is a
over.
new dog.
You had
Yeah,
sorry,
that's right. That's it.
I didn't mean to cut you off there, Guido. Sorry.
It's okay, my friend. Just don't do it again, or I come and take your
opportunity
It's
to
not over.
cross-examine those witnesses.
I did.
That's all real, man. Although I want to do that because you're my friend.
Yeah, and you deleted everything I said.
Yeah, court
And
made
you
some
heard
rulings.
everything that they said was a
So
lie.
now
And you know it
need
was
to
a lie.
let the court finish, all right? So the testimony was as the court has described, and there is no doubt that all of those actions Mr. Hensley is responsible for. That's the ironic part of it. He creates the situation that causes discomfort for these drivers, and then he's the individual that introduces a gun to the situation. Court heard 404B evidence that was remarkably similar, where Mr. Hensley is right on the bumper of a young lady, Grand Rapids, Kent County area. And then when she is very uncomfortable and pulls over and stops, Mr. Hensley again introduces a gun, pointing it at that individual. Now, I mention this because I'm not using that as it relates to a sentencing issue. I'm using that and that it's clear Mr. Hensley drives in a manner that endangers other people, that causes them to report his activity to other people. And then when they attempt to evade, if you will, what Mr. Hensley has caused, then he introduces a gun to the situation. Now, Mr. Hensley, I don't have to tell you that it's fairly obvious that in today's world, right, today's world of shall issue CPLs, that even if you believe that somehow you're justified in displaying a weapon, and for the record, there's nothing in this trial, nothing this court heard with the 404B evidence or the incident at hand here that we're sentencing you on that would suggest that in any way, shape, or form that you were not responsible, that you had any legal justification to introduce a weapon to it. But even assuming in your own mind that you were, what happens with that in today's world is they would have a very easy avenue to articulate, I felt in fear for my life or great bodily harm, and assuming they were lawfully carrying a gun, could take action, shoot you, in other words. And I can remember just in little Ione County, an incident that occurred just a few blocks from here, in which an individual was tailgating a lawful CPL holder going right down Steel Street over here. And so that individual, much like here, got over, pulled into the car wash to get away from this guy. And the guy behind him pulls right in behind him, much like in the 404B evidence I heard with you. And so what happens is the CPL holder, what is this guy doing? He's crazy. He pulls his gun. Now, you can argue whether he could articulate at that time, whether he felt his life was in danger of death or great bodily harm. But regardless, so what happens is the tailgater, he then also was a valid CPL holder, and he pulls his gun. And guess what they did? They shot each other, and they both died.
Wow.
The ironic thing is maybe it's the one time that a government program worked 100%, because to get a valid CPL, you have to take this course, do all those things, and part of that is shooting your gun 15 times or something, I can't remember.
I worked on home call. I knew about a CPL.
Yeah, well, my point is, so they both hit their mark, and they're dead.
The calls just kept coming in.
Union County 911, where's your emergency?
The chilling 911 recordings have been released, painting a clearer picture of the chaos from last Wednesday night in Ionia County.
Ma'am, we have help on the way, okay? Hurry up! We have help on the way. They're coming as fast as they can. Oh my God, just hurry! Ma'am, they're coming. Okay. Okay? Yes, hurry.
The panic you're hearing is the plea of residents in that area hoping to defuse the situation. The men were perfect strangers, but as fate would have it, they're now forever tied because of a decision that can't be reversed. Witnesses told police that one of the drivers was riding closely behind the other. That's when the pair pulled over into a car wash.
Right in front of Atcor, or the car wash, yep. Here in Ionia. Yes.
A confrontation took place outside the vehicle, and handguns were eventually drawn and shots were exchanged.
Legally, both men were allowed to carry their weapons. However, many have said that in this situation, it shouldn't have come to that. In either case, these families now have to deal with the fact that they will never see their loved ones again. And what's worse is that this situation could have been easily avoided.
And it's started from something just like this. And so my point in demonstrating the story to you, retelling the story, is when you engage in this kind of behavior, it puts your own life at risk. Put your own life at risk. And that you are lucky that hasn't occurred to you, but you certainly have frightened the heck out of people with what I heard in this trial. You certainly were in the wrong, and you're not a valid CPL holder. That's the other problem.
Because I don't need it.
All right, well, I recognize you think that you have.
Did you hear that? I'm not a valid CPL holder, and he doesn't need to be one.
Nope. Nope.
So he could just drive around and brandish weapons at people at will because, you know, I don't need that.
He's a gangster.
Have some fundamental rights that I'm not aware of found either in state or federal constitution, and you certainly can take those up on review, right?
I'm really in Western District Court already.
So that's fine.
Okay.
You can appeal anything that you'd like, any reason you think you have a valid appeal, but they're simply not found in state or federal constitution. And so here we are today. So that's how we end up with a carrying a concealed weapon, felonious assault, felony firearm. And what the court likes to do, Mr. Hensley, as I'm reviewing this, I will say this, I'm weighing positively in a positive manner here. You stand before the court at age 50, you don't have any prior criminal history.
Exactly.
Which is somewhat remarkable when I heard about the 404B evidence. So
Exactly.
I don't know how that didn't result in some sort of crime, but it didn't. And I'm recognizing that, and I'm going to recognize that in the sentence I'm going to impose here in a minute. We do have the sentencing guideline now, which is 5 to 23 months. Court likes to think about the middle. The middle of 5 to 23 is going to be 14. And I also want to recognize that you don't have any prior criminal history, and that I will also recognize until lately that you've been cooperative with the court. You showed up to court, that you, as far as I could tell, did your very best to represent yourself, and were adamant about doing so and took this matter seriously. All of those things, I think, are things the court can weigh that are positive to you. The negative, though, sir, is the outcome of this is your actions and one causing this and then making it worse with introducing the gun and pointing it at this family on the date in question.
Can they prove that?
They did prove that.
No,
Beyond a reasonable doubt at
did
trial.
not.
I recognize you disagree with that.
Because you had
asked the court to
you
decide
had
it,
photos,
and
you
the
had
court
video,
decided it.
you had somebody mouth.
Those are all
Yes.
evidentiary issues that you, again, can explore on appellate review, sir. You're welcome to do that.
Yes.
All right. So as it relates to the carrying a concealed weapon. All right, so carrying the concealed weapon is count or charge number 1. Court's going to impose a sentence.
Now, remember this. He's been convicted, right? So that means they found the weapon.
Yes.
So he had a concealed weapon. They found it. They charged him with it. So all this talk of, can they prove it? You don't have no video. You don't have any phone. You had a weapon on you.
That's all semantics, man. I'm telling you, you can't prove it was his gun, man. You don't know that.
Except it was on him. But yeah, you're right.
Well, you know, that could be anything. That could just be part of his past, man. You don't know.
Yeah, he found it on the street, picked it up. It just happened to be the same kind of weapon that was pointed at these people.
Listen, my friend, he could have been trying to turn it into the cops, man, and the cops just say he had the gun.
Yep, could have. Yes.
See, my client needs to be
12
let go of
months
his stupidity.
to 5 years. That's under the minimum guideline range of, or the middle, I should say, of what the court was looking at 14 months. So it'd be 1 year to 5 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections, and you do have credit now for 14 days that you have previously served. As it relates to the felonious assault, now this would be charge number 2. The court's going to impose a sentence of 1 year with the Michigan Department of Corrections to the statutory max of 4 years. You will receive credit for 14 days that you have previously served. And then as it relates to count 3, this is the felony firearm. The court is required, Mr. Hensley, to impose a sentence of 2 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections. And then counts 1 and 2 that I mentioned earlier will be served concurrently with each other, but this count 3 by statute is required to be served consecutive with and preceding these other 2 counts. So 2 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections.
One to 5.
As it relates to the monetary obligations, Mr. Hensley, the court is required by statute to impose $130 as a crime victim rights assessment. Court's going to impose court costs in the amount of $1,500. There'll be a $60 DNA testing fee, and then required by statute are the state costs in the amount of $68 on count 1, $68 on 2, and $68 on 3. All right, so Mr. Hensley, you do have a right, and this is something you're interested in. You've expressed that interest to seek appellate review of the sentence the court has imposed. If you'd like to do that, you have 21 days from today's date to make that request. You have the appellate paperwork there.
Right in front of him along with the pen.
All right.
He's already in the district court. You want the case number?
So hold on. So you have 21 days from today's date to make that request. All right. If you want to ask for a court-appointed attorney as it relates to this appellate review, you have a broader window of 42 days to make that request. Okay. Because you were convicted at trial, you have an automatic right to seek this review, meaning that if you ask for that review, then the appellate court will have to take a look at it. All right. So if you can, then there's a pen there. I need you to sign. There's 2 copies of that. One for you to keep, the other one for you to initial and date that you've received it. So if you could do that for me, sir, it's right there on the podium.
You can take that with you. I'm not signing anything.
All right. So for the record, Mr. Hensley Bay is indicating you don't want to sign that, sir?
I'm not signing anything.
All right. So for the record, then, though, I am going to send back with the deputy his copy of the appellate review form. I'm going to place the unsigned appellate review form here. Mr. Hensley, only because we've dealt with this case for so long. If you want to explore these, though, this form is important to you. Okay. I recognize that you are refusing to sign it or acknowledge it for the record, but this is something that you want to file timely if you want appellate review of this.
They don't have jurisdiction. So if they don't have jurisdiction, neither do you.
All right. I think that the court has jurisdiction. And if you want this reviewed by a Michigan court, then you need to file that. But I'm going to give that to the deputy. We'll keep it in your possession and you're free to go.
The appellate court doesn't have jurisdiction.
No.
Hey, Phil.
Yes.
Why's he been staying there for 3 square meals a day in a free bed if they don't got good jurisdiction? Walk out the door.
I don't know, but it's the appellate court, right? You can appeal this if you want to. Well, I'm not going to appeal it. They don't have jurisdiction.
Okay.
What? How does that make sense?
Can he be pro se in appeals or no?
No. You have to have an appellate.
I didn't
you have
think
to have
so.
an appellate.
Yeah, I
So,
didn't think so.
but if you can't afford it, the Michigan will provide an appellate attorney for you.
Yeah.
Now
Brilliant.
I have another traffic one, although this is a much more lighthearted one. It's a guy who he's subset adjacent. We'll just call him subset adjacent. And this comes from a old squishy gardener. So I gotta share it, don't I?
Like,
That would help.
you get the license issue, that's a pretty cut and dried thing. You have a license now, looks like you do. Looks like you got the license like 2 days later. And then, so how did you want to, so again, how did you want to proceed on the seatbelt ticket?
Well, I'd like to contest the hearing, Your Honor.
So you're contesting on this speeding ticket, but then mitigating on the valid
seatbelt issue.
Seatbelt ticket, I'm sorry, you're right. You're contesting the seatbelt ticket, but you're mitigating then the license issue?
I'm contesting it, Your Honor.
Okay, okay. Could you raise your right hand, please?
Yes.
You swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You can put your hand down. So
now, in case you missed it, so this guy has 2 tickets, right? A seatbelt violation and a failure to present. He got reissued a license 2 days after this event. And he wants to contest it.
After he paid the money and did the test.
Well, he got a replacement license 2 days later. So the issue on a failure to present is you didn't have it with you, right? And so you didn't present it. It would seem to me if you got a new license 2 days later, you didn't have it to present. So what is it you think you're going to contest?
It's like a fix-it ticket, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And okay, okay. So that's why the judge is like, can't believe he wants to have a contested hearing on this. But okay.
Seatbelt ticket first. What did you get a chance to review your police report?
I did.
Okay. Go ahead.
And I set forth a motion for discovery, and I had a couple of questions. And
did you submit it? Give me just a moment. So you submitted
motion for discovery on a seatbelt ticket?
Yes.
Did you ever get anything?
I did. All I got was a printed tick the box return. I had 2 questions that weren't answered.
Okay, so what? Give me just a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hereby set forth a request for discovery concerning the above case.
Yes.
And then I also request any evidence that you're subject to the codes concerning this case. And you request any evidence that you're in any type of contract concerning this case.
Yes.
Okay, so the discovery.
So there's the ding, ding, ding soft set. How am I subject to the codes?
Yep.
Right.
When you show up.
Yes. Yes. You know, people that make $1,000 an hour don't do this.
Right. People who make,
like somebody saying, I'm kind of pregnant. You are or you're not.
Gia, people who make 1,000 pesos an hour don't do this.
Exactly. Exactly.
Typically is a police report, an affidavit or some sort that says what happened out there. Did you get that?
I got a tick the box.
Right, that's right. So that's the evidence there. And then on your, the codes, it should say on your infraction, where you were served with that, it has the, yeah, right there. You go look right next to there, they'll have the codes there.
Your Honor, I was asking for some evidence that subject to these codes, I got nothing from the prosecutor's office. I didn't get a reply to either.
Well, they don't have anything to that, about that, first of all. And secondly, I request evidence that you're in any type of contract concerning this case.
Yes.
There isn't any.
Right. So,
And so that doesn't have anything, whether you're in a contract or not. I don't know why people make this argument to me. I really don't.
okay.
But there's rules of the road. You need to comply with them. There's, you go on the freeway, you see all the people on I-5. None of those people have contracts to drive on the highway, but they're required to follow the rules of the road, including have a license and don't drive under the influence of alcohol, maintain the speed limit and all that sort of stuff. There is no contract of any sort. That's just the rules you got to follow. And that's been litigated quite, for a long period of time. And the absence of any sort of written contract or oral contract with anybody, I will tell you that that's not a winning argument. It's just not.
Well, isn't your
Okay,
driver's
returning
license a
to,
contract?
Being subject to the codes, there was also no response.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
And you
it is.
willingly sign it.
Right.
And it's the property of the state. It says
Yes.
so.
So
If
are
they
your
ask
plates.
for it, you
Yep.
can't say, no, it's mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But again, it's one of the rules of the road that you have to have a license.
Yes.
That's just part of it.
Yep.
That's from the prosecutor's office as far as being subject to these
Well,
codes.
again, anybody who drives on the road are subject to the rules of the road. I mean, they just are. You don't have and again, taking that away from the traffic, you're not allowed to rob a bank either. You're not allowed to assault people, but there's no, you just live under those codes. You don't have, no one ever came to you and said, hey, you're subject to the code that says you can't assault people. The same is true with driving. You have to be licensed. In order to be licensed, you have to take a test. You have to both driving and written. And then that when you choose to get on the road, you're subject to those. You're just subject to all the laws in the state, whether or not it's traffic or not.
I understand but there is no injured third party. You abide by the rules, no one gets injured.
That's and again, I've heard that too, and I have zero idea where that comes from, because that's just not true. I mean, like for example, then people could drive drunk as long as they didn't hit anybody, they're fine. But that's certainly not the case.
Well, that would be,
But you want the benefits of the state. Yep.
You can.
Well, yeah, right. You want to drive on a road. If
Right,
the
you
road
want
has
the
potholes, you're going to
Yep.
bitch about the potholes not being fixed.
Right.
So you want to fix the road. You want to
Right.
have a nice road. You want to have a bridge to drive over that doesn't collapse.
Yep.
You want to be able to drive from state to state to state,
Yep.
right? Without having to stop, which is called an interstate. So you
Yep.
want all of that stuff,
Yes.
but you don't want to pay for it.
Yep. Of course not.
And you don't want to be subject to the rules. I would love to be able to drive well north of 100 miles an hour everywhere I go, right?
Yes.
Okay, but I can't because I'm limited. So I live within that rule. If I wanted to do that, I could go to Germany, drive the Autobahn, right? I don't understand these people.
Now, Phil, my house rule is shoes off at the front door. I had a friend that didn't want to do that. So you know what?
Don't
She
come
don't come
over.
over no more.
Right.
My place, my rules. You don't follow them, you don't come over.
Right.
You don't want to follow the rules then of the state, the county, and the city, then stay off the state, the county, and the city roads.
Right. Exactly.
You want to drive 100, do it in your driveway.
Well, I wish I could. If I had a driveway long enough, I would.
Oh, I wish I was in the loving embrace of a goth girl right now, but I'm here.
Quit your bitching. You love it here.
I know.
Commit crimes without hurting individuals.
I love all of you.
I mean, just because no one got hurt, no, I mean,
And we
no
have.
harm, no foul might work in the NBA, but that's not in terms of,
Really?
you know, the rules of the road. You have to comply with them.
But I was traveling.
So again, so the issue, and again, I will tell you.
And
what
they
the
travel in
issue
the
is,
NBA,
is
so
they're
it's
very
the
narrow,
same thing, right?
Right? What you're charged with is not having a license, but without identification. Or not having license, but with identification. And so that's it. I just make a determination. You know, the police officer said in his report, you didn't have a license with you. And then it looks to me like you got one shortly thereafter. And that's, did you have a license when you were driving or not? That's the only inquiry. The second inquiry is, were you wearing your seatbelt or not? That's all there is to it. And so that's what I'm asked to decide. So I can swear you in and I'll hear from you. And then following that, I'll read the report and then I'll make a determination on those two issues, whether A, you were wearing a seatbelt, and 2, you were operating while you didn't have, without a valid license at the time. That's it. And you could mitigate, you could admit that, and that, well, the license ticket, that's an expensive ticket. And so again, if you want to think about what you want to do, I think Mr. McIntyre, I think, is taking a little bit more time than we thought, so I can take care of him. If you want to think about what I'm saying, maybe this is coming as news to you. I'll hear from Mr. McIntyre, and then I'll come back and hear from you. So, Mr. Giorno, where are we at?
This is
I've got one last thing I want to say about the prosecutor's responsibilities. They're required to give you everything they have regarding this case. And this is all there is, just that police report and the citation. So there's no, you know, this isn't a speeding ticket. There's no speed measuring device. There's no pictures or anything like that or video. It's just the officer's report saying that you didn't have your license and that you didn't have a seatbelt. So what do you want to do here today?
Well, I had a seatbelt on and I would like to.
So if you want to contest it, then let me, I can't even remember now. Did I swear you in?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so talk to me about the seatbelt.
Well, the officer's report is fabricated hearsay. I say
Fabricated.
it's inadmissible hearsay, and I motion to strike.
Is he British?
Hang on just a minute, let me get the report up. How is it hearsay?
Aussie.
He says I admitted to it. I did not, of course not. And I would like to see the video. I'd like to cross-examine.
There is no video.
Okay.
And if you want to, you need to make a request to have the officer present in order to do that. If you want it, and then in the absence of having the officer present, I can decide it from the court rules are clear on that. I can rely on the report. I want to set it over for a period of time to most people ask for the officer to show up, hoping they won't, if you want my frank opinion. But if you want, I'll give you the benefit of setting this over to have so the trooper can appear if you wish to do that.
Well, I object to that, Your Honor, because I showed up today and it seems
But you need, again, this is another example of you need to follow the rules. In order to have the trip, you have to provide a request for that in advance of the hearing. We never got the request.
Your Honor, I understand that it's the burden of proof is on the plaintiff.
True.
So the officer's not here.
That's
There's
true.
a failure to appear.
He's a
So
sworn officer.
But
He's
He
believed.
did say that it was.
And they never said to show up.
Well,
So
they
now
might
he's
not, they
saying, well, the
probably,
officer
in
didn't
takes
show
like
up.
this, they wouldn't have.
Right. So
The
the guy's
officer
not
has to be told
following.
by the court to show up.
Yeah, the guy's not following the court rules. And then because he's not following the court rules, he thinks that he should be able to get away with it because, well, they didn't show up because I didn't follow the court rules.
Yeah. Hey,
By
Gia,
asking them to be there.
Wait.
Gia, I have an idea. I
Uh-oh.
can get fishnet stockings and hair dye and combat boots. Can you help me give Phil a goth girl eyeliner?
No.
What?
We could make Phil a goth girl.
No.
I don't want to be a goth girl.
No. No. Don't involve me in your craziness.
Why don't you become a goth girl, Touche?
Oh, God. Are you kidding? Never. Never. I don't wear makeup. I'm old. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that.
That's true.
It's true. It is true. It is true.
We wouldn't have preserved that and sent it to the prosecutor's office. You didn't make the request to State Patrol to get that. You made a request to the prosecutor's office, what they had for the case.
Well, it's a little hard to discuss things with State Patrol.
What's that?
It's a little difficult to discuss issues with State Patrol when they are in a certain mode.
Oh my God.
What do you want to do here? Again, I'm still not too clear.
Well,
if you want to contest the seatbelt, we can do that. And then tell me what happened out there. Were you wearing your seatbelt? And if not, why not? And tell me what the misunderstanding with the officer is. Well, go ahead.
Well, the officer could not have seen what I was doing either way because he did a 180-degree wheel spin in the middle of Yelm Highway, where I've lived for 35 years, to pursue me. I, as far as I know, had a valid driver's license and have always had a valid driver's license. So I contest that I don't have any evidence from the prosecutor's office. I don't have any witness to cross-examine.
You do have evidence from the prosecutor's office. You have that report.
This is a print, Your Honor.
I know what it is. I'm looking at the same thing.
I have one, the original.
At the bottom of it, you can say it was certified under penalty of perjury. And then there's the officer's signature on there.
Well,
give me just a minute. Give me just a minute here.
Okay.
Yeah, the court rule says, with regard to the officer not being here, upon written demand of the defendant, at least 14 days before a contested hearing filed with the court and served in the office of the prosecuting attorney assigned to the court in which the infraction is filed, the prosecuting attorney shall at least 7 days before the court hearing provide you with a copy. That's not what I'm looking for. In a minute. Oh yeah. On earlier in that same rule, a request that an officer appear at a contested hearing pursuant to this rule shall be filed in a separate pleading, and it may be directed. And then someplace else in this rule, it says, in the absence of that request, the judge, me, can rely on the police reports. And that is a police report. Yes, it's short, but that's what we have. And again, that's so. Do you have anything else? Because I'm ready to rule on these cases. Unless you, and again, I'll give you the opportunity to set this over and have the trooper present if you wish. You're here now. I don't have to, but I will give you that accommodation if you wish to take advantage of it.
So there's no.
So there you go, right? So the guy is complaining the officer is not there. So the judge is giving him an opportunity. You can hold this over, right? We can get the prosecutor and we can get the officer here.
And lose another day of work for the man.
But your claim is I should be let go because they're not here. The rule is you have to tell them to be there. He didn't do that. So the judge is giving him an opportunity to remedy that.
Yep.
So if that's what you want, right, that's your complaint. So if that's what you want, we can make that happen. So that's the offer.
No prosecutor present, there's no witness present. Not having, doesn't seem I'm allowed to have a fair trial. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's an adversarial court system.
Right.
We have two parties. There is no injured third party. I still don't get an opportunity to cross-examine, and they have failed by default to appear.
No.
So I don't see why this should continue on.
So they don't, the prosecutor doesn't need to. They're not required to. And the fact that they don't on these infractions, again, they rely on the report. And so, and that's just what they do. And sometimes they do that to their peril. You don't know how I'm gonna rule on these cases. And sometimes these reports are incomplete, or I don't know, you were here at 1:30, they didn't even file one. So the case was dismissed and the woman who was there just left. And that happens sometimes too. And so the rules allow for this sort of procedure. And like I say, I'm giving you the opportunity to have that trooper present if you want to take it.
This is
So
a
you
very
complained about,
important
you know,
case,
he's not
dude.
here, and I've tried to
That's why the
explain to you that it's
prosecutor
not.
isn't there.
Right. It's a civil infraction, right?
This
The
is
only
so
thing
ridiculous. Yep.
The only thing he's subject to is a fine.
Yep.
Not going to jail. All right. You just have to pay a fine. That's
You know
it.
how many cases the prosecutor has? You have
Right.
any idea how much workload they have?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And now he's missed a day of work, and if he wants to cop there, he'll miss a second day of work. Cheaper to pay the fine.
Well, but his complaint is they're not there. So again, the judge is giving him the opportunity to correct his error in not following the court rule.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, there's certain things you have to do to get him or her here, and you didn't do them, but I'm giving you the opportunity to set this over so you can speak with them if you wish, and it's entirely up to you.
Well, I'm here for the hearing. I mean, it's going to be a fair trial. I mean, you seem to be, you know, arguing for the plaintiff, whereas I
don't mean to be doing that. I'm just trying to explain to you what the rules are. And in certain instances like these, they don't have to do things. And so I'm not saying about the sufficiency of the evidence. I'm not saying, well, you should be convicted for, or be found adjudicated for, found committed for this reason or for that reason. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying these are the rules for this sorts of procedure. And if you perceive that as me being on the side of arguing against you, I'm sorry about that, but that's not what I'm trying to do.
Well, this print that the officer gave me, I did not and was not able to see who was in his vehicle. So I have no idea who printed that.
What does that
I have no
matter?
idea. There is no personal signature on anything. And yet again, I'm here and showed up.
There's no personal signature on it. So he didn't give you a wet ink signature, and you think that that is somehow dispositive of something.
Yep.
He didn't offer me a spot of tea with me ticket.
Right. I can just. Okay. I didn't see who was in his car. Okay.
I asked the Majesty and the Crown to let me go on my own stupidity.
Yeah, right.
Isn't his badge number on the police report?
Probably. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. His name, his badge number, all of that is on there. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yep.
And again, he filled it out under penalty of perjury. So he signed it under penalty of perjury.
Yes.
But according to this guy, it's not a wedding signature, and he couldn't see who was in his car to print it out.
Yep.
Because that somehow matters. Whether or not you had a license with you at the time you were pulled over.
Yep.
Okay.
And they don't have a case. They're not here.
They do have a case.
You know,
You don't
a little bit
have a case.
perplexed by that.
So here's what I'm prepared to do here today. With regard, you have two infractions here, and with regard to you're correct. You've shown up. I've sworn you in. I've listened to you testify. With regard to the seatbelt ticket, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. It will be finding of not committed on the seatbelt ticket. However, with regard to the license, based on the report of the The police report, combined with the fact that on your ADR, which I'm allowed to look at, it looks like you were issued a license 2 days after this. It will be a finding of committed with driving without the license.
Your Honor, I forgot to bring my old license in. You can't read the date on it. I mean, it's just.
So he had a license. You can't read the date on it.
The DMV can.
Okay, but so again, he's still arguing over this right, this ticket, right? So he had a license. The issue is he didn't present it to the officer. So just keep that in mind as he goes on with this story.
So
you know, it sounds like an entrapment. It's not like
entrapment.
The Department of Licensing sends you a notice because what license went in the laundry or whatever, you can't read it, and suddenly I'm just driving like normal, like, and it's like, oh, that's crazy. I couldn't even read it.
And
I'll bring it in.
I'm going to go back to, and I'm going to say this one last thing, and and then I told you how I'm going to rule on these infractions, but I will respond to that.
Yeah.
In this manner, and that is, you know, it's again, when you get on the road, it's your responsibility to comply with the rules of the road. It just is, and part of that is it's your responsibility to make sure you're appropriately licensed. And I don't. Again, I'm not seeing it. You're right. You didn't see that. I don't know what it looked like when it came out of the laundry, but that's going to be my ruling on this case. And so they'll be not committed on the seatbelt, and that'll be dismissed. It will be committed on the no valid operator license, and the fine is since you got a license shortly thereafter. I will reduce the fine. I'll chop the fine in half.
But I got a discovery.
The fine will be, and again, just a second. The fine will be $280. And again, I tried to explain to you, that is the discovery, that police report, that's what it is.
But discovery did not say that I am.
So he cut the fine in half. It's $280.
Yep.
So that means it was $560.
Yep.
Plus the seatbelt.
Well,
No,
they
dropped it.
He dropped the seatbelt.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
but
he dropped
look
the
at what he
seatbelt.
was going to face if he was convicted of both. That would have been, you know, several $100s.
Yeah. But
Still
I'm
not
just
good
like,
enough.
yeah, it's still not good enough.
Yep.
Subject to these codes.
Well, when you, again, I tried to explain that to you too. When you choose to get on the road, you know, you're subject to the rules of the road. You need to
But
follow
I
them.
object. This is not fair.
You can object and you
Life is
can
not
appeal.
fair.
I will.
Okay.
I will. This is not fair.
You can go, you can give him a piece of paper. You can come up this and you can take this to the window and you set up payment arrangements, file your appeal or whatever you wish to do. That's fine. You're certainly free to do that.
You're acting as a prosecutor, giving me a bill.
Yes,
This
that's what he
is not fair.
does. Yes.
This is not a fair trial. They didn't show up. So the onus and burden of proof is not on me. I'm not subject to these codes according to the prosecutor's office. So I'm not subject to a fine until we have a fair trial.
And you don't pay the fine,
Fair and impartial.
and they will suspend your license
I
again.
told you what I've ruled.
Yep.
I've tried to explain to you the rules of infraction hearings. They don't necessarily need to. Sometimes they choose to, sometimes they don't. They don't have to. They filed the police report. I can rely on that. The court rules allow that. I know you disagree with that, and that's.
Yep.
How much time would cops spend in the courtroom versus in their patrol car if they had to show up in case the person wanted to challenge without doing the proper paperwork that says show up?
Well, okay, and again, this is okay. So Washington's kind of similar to Iowa. You have an initial appearance, right? So you can basically do one of three things. You can plead guilty. You can plead just guilty outright, you're fine. You can have a contested hearing, which this guy's doing, or you can plead not guilty and go to trial. So he chose to have a contested hearing. So he could have pleaded not guilty and gone to trial, which would have been a different day, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't do any of that. He decided to have a contested hearing. He lost half of the hearing. And he's bitching.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get what I want. Even though I didn't do what I was supposed to do.
Now, I pled not guilty because I was accused of taking a left-hand turn and turning into the outside lane instead of the inside lane on a major road. Went back, got pictures of the intersection from all 4 angles, and got Google Earth. When I turned, there were no 2 lanes. It was 1 lane that was a lane and a half wide. There were no lines.
Right.
And so, yeah, the officer said that I turned into the outside lane when turning left, but there was only 1 lane. It was 40 something feet wide, but there were no lines.
Right. Right, but you see, you wanted to challenge it, right? So you pled not guilty.
Yeah.
And you went to trial.
I did due diligence by going back and getting the pictures because Google Earth could have been 3 years ago.
Right. But this guy chose to not do any of that.
Yeah.
And then is complaining because he didn't do what he was supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't ask for the cop to be there, but the cop's not there, therefore I should win by default.
Right. Well, that happens, right? Like a lot of people will do that. They'll plead not guilty because if you go to a hearing and the police officer doesn't show up, then it is automatically dismissed because that is the state's witness and they cannot sustain their burden of proof.
Yeah.
And so the judge is right. A lot of people do that because they hope the cop doesn't show up. It's actually not a bad strategy. I would do that if I were given that situation. But if they do show up, then you either have to have a defense or just simply change your plea or talk to the prosecutor and try and get it dropped down to something else.
Yeah.
But don't whine to the judge because it didn't go your way.
And I don't hear there's going to be points on this.
I don't know because I don't know how Washington does their thing. So
no.
The officer doesn't even have the decency to sign his own name.
And you can come and take this, and you can take that to the window and set up payment arrangements. Or if you want to refuse to pay it, it'll be an unpaid infraction. And I'm telling you what I've done here today, and that's going to be the hearing will be concluded.
You didn't offer me another option that you stated at the opening of this hearing. You didn't offer me a deferral.
I did offer you a deferral. You told me you were wanted to contest it. I mean, I clearly offered you a deferral. I thought I said that at the beginning. I went through all 3 options. And
at the beginning when everyone was present.
Yeah. And I told everybody what their options are. And then when they come to the table, they tell me what they want to do.
Yes. Well, I was pursuing a line of contesting this.
Right. And that's what you did. And then I made.
Now I want a deferral.
Yep.
So what I tried to do,
people who make $1,000 an hour don't do this.
So what I wanted to do didn't work. So now I want to do something else.
Yep.
He wants more bites at the apple.
Yep.
Yeah. But that's not fair. That's not fair.
That's not fair. I want to go back. I want a do-over. I want a do-over.
He needs a DeLorean.
All right.
My ruling. I ruled against you, which is what happened here today. So you can come and get that or refuse to take it, whatever you wish to do, but this hearing will be concluded and that'll be it for this hearing.
And this is near Olympia, Washington.
What a dumbass. Yep.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
NCR had to take his leave. So have a good night, NCR. I hope everything is okay.
Yeah, he's fine. He's got to take care of mom, and we're gonna go. We're gonna go live tomorrow together because we're so awesome.
Because you're two-timing backstabbing sons of bitches.
Yep. We are.
Now somebody can get Vlad to change the setting for the satellite so Jim can get his satellite again.
Yeah, well, I might answer Elon's calls. You never know. Everything might be all good by morning.
Well, on that happy note,
yes,
I think we will end the show.
Yes. Fun.
And 2 more days for the Jose extravaganza.
Assuming he's still, if he's
back on.
Yeah, I need to. I needed to announce that that may be rescheduled. So stay tuned for announcements on that. That may be rescheduled. We may have to reschedule the extravaganza. In which case, we'll make Jim do a marathon or something like that over the weekend to make up for
Yep.
inconveniencing us.
Yep. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thanks for tuning in. We had a great time. We will see you tomorrow, and hopefully Jim will be back.